Yo guys, welcome back to another PSGL highlights video. Today
It's like
we are
half
back
a monthly
in
salary in
Jeddah for I
Switzerland.
think around 12 it is, if I'm not mistaken, as always. But we're gonna look to get a good result here because as we're gonna see in the standings, we are now P5, making our way up the ladder behind Bari. I think 19 points behind Bari and 18 points behind Jarno. So it's gonna be a difficult race as we are all here tonight, except one I think. So it's a full, what's it called, main drivers grid tonight basically. So again, just like last race, it's gonna be very tough to do a good qualifying and a good race as the level will be at its peak. As we jump on to the first Q1 run, as you see there, I lose the car in Sector 1, not the cleanest run. To be mentioned, did not have much practice whatsoever for this run. I was feeling a bit tired from all the racing that I've been doing recently. So, and that same morning, I actually had like a little surgery to remove like a birthmark on my head. That's why you see the thingy on my head. But no, it was nothing serious. But yeah, didn't have much practice. We put on a setup that I didn't try before, so kind of pulled a Yarno per se. So we were kind of testing setup in the session. So had to get comfortable with it and get used to it. So I was definitely not comfortable enough, I think, to just get into Q3 with just one run on each qualifying. And this run so far has been looking relatively okay. I mean, nothing crazy. Especially turn 1 and 2 were not clean enough. I think there's a lot of time to gain there. But either way, we're gonna come to the last corner here, down to third. No, we stay in fourth gear, easier on the traction, and we're gonna go for provisional P1, I think. But obviously, I'm one of the first cars to set a lap. Never mind. Sorry, I'm completely lost. P3, 1/10 behind Patrick. Patrick did a really good lap there. So we decided to go out again because I was scared that I was not gonna make it into Q2, and we're gonna become, I think, third, as a few people is gonna beat us.
Thomas and Ismar 13th and 14th.
The grid was fast, but even with my first run, I would have been just about enough through.
Oh, could you though?
So
yes,
it was too tight to call. I didn't want to risk it that much. I'd rather be in Q2 and Q3 than risking a Q3. Than risking to not be in Q3. So yeah. Anyway, we're gonna go through Barry as well. Barry passed with one set of tires, I think. No, he passed with two as well. Sorry, I'm all over the place. He actually took 2 runs to do that lap. So on to Q2, first run on new set, as we did kind of a warm-up lap on the used set before this, but we didn't finish the lap. That's why we don't have a delta. We do a pretty good turn 1 and 2 there. I don't know, it looked better than it felt, to be honest. But anyway, on to turn 4. The curb pushed us a little bit wide, kind of off the line, but still carried enough speed, I think. Here it's all about the minimum speed and the exit, which actually we get a pretty good one. And we do a really good sector 1 with 31.221. That is very fast for our wings. I think we have the lowest wings once again in the whole field. Recurring theme, looks like. But yeah, anyway, good sector 1 for those wings. So we're going to look to make up all the time on the others in sector 2 and 3. Good chicane there as well. I keep saying mid because, I don't know, I just didn't feel on the limit of the car yet. So, but clearly it was still pretty fast. But anyway, sector 2 split with a 0.84, which is really competitive actually. And with a good last sector here, we might actually pass Q2 with one set of tires if we get a good last corner. The chicane was alright. It didn't carry as much speed as I could have, but I just really wanted to get the lap in. Didn't need to risk too much as the lap was still really good.
Mate.
Last corner also maybe a little bit deep, but yeah, I'm a perfectionist. And I did not expect a 0.54 there.
Shut up. You did a 2-2 first. And you said mid.
Yeah. So yeah, now me and Barry, being P2 and P3, very close together with Lucas, I think we are gonna decide to retire.
It's risky to risk it though, really.
We were very
I think I will.
we were very hesitant though.
No. I think we are safe, Yona. It's literally a 10th to 7th.
And yeah, we decided to risk it, and it paid off. Thankfully, it was getting close for Barry. Not gonna lie, too close for comfort. But yeah, anyway, we managed to get both cars into Q3, and we both have 2 sets of tires. First round in Q3, not good. 0.53 is slower than what people did in Q2. It was not a hooked up lap as we jump on board on the last lap of Q3, so this is where it all counts. We do a very good turn 1 and 2, to be honest. Very good. We are up on a delta. It's all about this S section now. This is where most of the time can be gained or lost, as we get a really good turn 4 as well. The curb does not push us wide at all. But here, I'm just not on the limit. I hesitated, turned too early, had to lift. I even touched the brake and I lost so much time. I lost probably more than a tenth of a second there, or just about. So that really cost us a lot of time. Here, didn't really hit the apex perfectly. But I guess the speed out, carried out was okay. Let's see the chicane here, down to 5th gear. Yeah, also really good as well. I think my middle sector was actually really fast, now that I think about it, so compared to everyone else. So middle sector was definitely not the issue. And we're still on for a really, really, really good lap here. But as you can see here, we completely missed the apex for the chicane and we lose a lot of time. I'm guessing 130, 140. So I should have been around 2 tenths up by now when I'm only half a tenth up. So that's not ideal. Last corner, we just go wide. We hit the wall. It was very, very scruffy last sector. So we barely improved by half a tenth. And we got provisional P5. But as you're going to see, people will beat us. And I'm going to be P8 in qualifying. With Barry being P1 at the moment. Freddy goes P4. But as we see Thomas here, at the end of his lap, is going to beat Barry by a millisecond. But yeah, as Jarno's the last one to cross the line, and he gets P6. So I'm going to start P8 in the race. It's not too bad. Not too bad.
Jarno is not P10.
Lucas actually crucially behind us. So championship contender, or one of our championship rivals, behind us. So that's good for us. Brandon Lee as well, I forgot to mention. He was out in Q2 in P15.
He's gonna smoke me with it. Okay.
Good job, Barry.
Yeah, thank you, man. I told you.
Yeah, so Brandon Lee P15, Lucas P9, so those two are behind us, but unfortunately we have Jarno ahead of us, so we're gonna try and work with him for the race. I think that's the best strategy to go with. I mean, Barry starting at the top positions will probably go for a different strategy than us. So I don't think it's best for us to both go on the same strategy, so I'm gonna go opposite strategy or whatever Barry does, and just go from there, see what happens. Yeah, my last sector was really slow, as you can see, 0.82 when we should be doing low sixes, so that's 2 tenths. So we were definitely fighting for pole. Pace was there. But anyway, it is what it is, we make mistakes. And here we go to the start of the race. And Tom Manley ahead of us on soft, so we know he's going to pass most people ahead of us. But crucially, Jarno on the hards, just like us. That's perfect news. That's exactly what I wanted him to do, and we can now work together for the rest of the race, basically. And I have a little lock up there. I think I forgot to change the brake bias by a click. And yeah, one click makes that huge of a difference when you're so used to that certain brake bias. Anyway, also, I don't know if you guys noticed that the heart rate monitor is back on and working. This time, remembered to charge it for the race. So that's always good. But anyway, now it's all about finding a groove. And this track is very hard to follow each other in the sector 1 especially. And I thought I had relatively low wings. Like I had even lower than qualifying. And Jarno was still pulling away on me on the straights. So I was very surprised when I saw that. I was expecting to be one of the fastest on the straights, and I just wanted to give up some actual raw pace, but looks like Jarno went even further than me on that. As you can see, he's just gaining.
Jarno super low wings, like extremely.
So yeah, it's gonna be a tough battle.
So he's gonna go long and overtake. So he needs
or tough battle to pass him.
Thomas also has ultra wings.
On the other hand, Lucas, I can notice straight away that he has higher wings because he's look at the amount of time he's losing on the straight. So that's good news for us. At least we're not the slowest. But anyway. Nothing's going to happen now because we're all in a train. So I think we're going to skip all the way to lap 6 here. Yeah. Still in the same train. Maybe the top 2 or 3 are kind of changing positions. And there's a little bit of a domino effect here. I'm not quite sure what happened here. And Jarno just gets a free pass onto top. Which at the end of the day, it doesn't make much difference. I mean, Tom is on softs. He's gonna pit way earlier than us. I don't feel like I'm losing compared to Jarno at this point. I just need to bide my time, keep my ERS, and just follow him through. As we're gonna approach the pit window for the soft runners, because I think the top 5, the top 4 are on softs, and then Freddy in the top, I think he's 5th, he's on mediums. So Freddy will definitely go long, so that's good for us because he can carry us with him, going on a medium pace instead of a hard pace. So that's always good for the alternate strategy. And Simon Weigang on the softs behind us couldn't get past Lucas. Thankfully, Lucas managed to hold him off, so we don't lose any more track position relative to him. And now again, we see Tom's tires, the softs, lap 7, already the start of lap 7, they're already starting to die. And then we skip to lap 9, he has absolutely no grip, and I think we're going to go for the move here. But as we see, the 2 RAG drivers pitted, and that was very close with Tom actually, with hitting the back of him, but luckily I didn't touch him. But anyway, we get past him, easy pass. I don't think he even wanted to defend at that point. He knew he couldn't hold me up for much longer with those tires. So anyway, now Barry is leading the train. I think he's gonna have to push because he's getting undercutted. So this is good. That means the train will go at a faster pace than it normally would. So I think Barry will use some ERS here, and I need to make sure I follow Jarno. As you see, I'm struggling to follow Jarno that closely. I mean, he was very rapid this race, to be honest. I think that's one of his fastest pace from him that I've seen from him in a while. It was actually, I had to focus like crazy to even follow him relatively close. Anyway, skipping on to lap 12, Jarno passes Freddy. I think Freddy just wanted to let Jarno go. I think the hards are a bit faster than the mediums now. Not too much. So then that's why Freddy will try to defend his P2, as here I tried to go for the move, see if maybe he was going to let me by. But no, he's not going to make it that easy on me. Giving me the outside here, the longer way to the corner. But we're not going to create any drama here. There's no need to fight too hard. I'm just having a check, seeing what we can work with Freddy and stuff like that. But as you can see, Lucas behind us decides to undercut us and pit from the hards to the mediums. I wanted Freddy to pass him because I thought we were losing a little bit of time not using each other to just slingshot past each other. But anyway, as I tapped the back of him a little bit, but no, nothing major there. As we skip on to later on this lap, Tom Manley crashed in Sector 1, and we were hoping for a safety car, which does come out. That is perfect news for us. That is very lucky timing. Very lucky for Jarno and Freddy and all of us at the front here, to be honest, because we're basically getting a free pit stop. So Thomas, Alfie, Barry, Lucas, they all lose out big time on this. Barry is not very happy with it.
You need to be 0 on the delta on the start-finish line, and then after that you need to push on the after the pit entry line. You need to push.
Jona telling Barry to make sure he pushes right after the safety car line so he can stay ahead of us, because I mean that's his only chance of winning this race at this point. He has, I think, 3 lap older tire than us, so the whole stint he will have a pace deficit, and it's not nice. It's not nice. As here, Freddy loses the back end a bit entering the pits. Not quite sure what happened here, but as you can see, I'm behind Freddy in the pits. We make our pit stop, and we come out ahead. I don't know if he was held up, if he messed up the pit entry little mini game thing. But anyway, that's good news because he was on hards, and that means I don't have to waste my ERS to pass him. So that was perfect, lucky for us. And Jarno here is going to push like crazy to get past Barry, but he just about doesn't. So that's also really good. Jarno managed to, Barry managed to keep P2. Alfie stayed out on P1, whilst Thomas, that was leading with, net leading with Alfie, decided to pit again for a new set of mediums, which who knows if it was the best or wrong strategy call. We will see at the end. But
probably gonna go late.
I don't know. I probably would have stayed out as we do a little tap on Wilson. But 2 laps later, the safety car comes in, and the restart is crucial. We don't want to lose any track position. And if we have to use a lot of ERS to do that, I absolutely will.
Gone,
Because
gone.
ERS is not a big problem here. It's relatively easy to recharge. So yeah, as Ismail Fassi behind us stopped using relatively early, so that's good of him to not create any drama, not create any fighting that we don't need to lose positions. But Wilson pitted the same lap as Barry, so he has 3 laps older tires than us, and we want to overtake him ASAP. We need to help Barry and overtake Jarno, not just for this race, but for the championship. I mean, Jarno is on a huge advantage at the moment with the fresher tires compared to Barry. As you can see, he's following him really closely, just as I am to Wilson, so it just shows the pace advantage that we have. So here we're going to try to use some ERS, see maybe if he's going to let us go, but he doesn't, fairly so. If I was him, I would do the same. So we are going to have to pass on track, which is difficult in a train like this. But hopefully with the pace advantage, we can find a gap somewhere. But yeah, as you can see, we're following so closely, like less than a tenth and a half behind him.
Stupid low wings, remember that, Barry. Don't use too much because he's barely using, he's on 95.
Yeah, Jarno on very, very low wings, as we keep mentioning. It was actually surprising to see how fast he was on the straights. But it works in a race scenario like this, to be honest. If you give up some race pace for just pure straight line speed and ERS, I can't speak. It has its advantages for sure. And once again, we use a lot of ERS to try and pass Wilson, but he's really not giving this up, and he goes a little bit deep. We try to do the switchback, but he doesn't let us have it. And Jarno gets past Barry around the outside, so that is not good news for us, which means Jarno can now pass Alfie and try to gap, basically. And if he gaps, I'm not going to say the race is over, but it's definitely all to lose for him. Yeah, it's super hard to then just catch back the ERS, the DRS zone when you're going to lose that much time. But anyway, I have to find a way through Wilson. Like I just got to.
Wilson is on 60.
So Wilson has a little bit less ERS than us. So sooner or later we will get past because I have more ERS and I think a little bit more straight line speed. As here he's defending again, but we're gonna fake the outside and go down for a little inside. I didn't want to like dive him, but I just wanted to scare him a little bit, and he goes wide and leaves us the free pass on him, which is perfect for us. We didn't lose too much ERS, and we got past the car that we needed to. So now we're behind Barry, and it's time for us to work together. We're not sure if we wanted to switch yet. We didn't know what the actual pace deficit was compared to the 2 tires, so we just decided to stick like this for a lap, see what happens. I mean, we're all still in the train, so it wasn't a big deal if we changed or not straight away. As we see behind us, Ismail's trying to get past Wilson as well, because he's also on newer tires than Wilson. And he tries to go down for the inside here, and there's a deja vu from Jeddah WR, a car diving down the inside here in the last corner. And
well done, Nick.
I learned from my, well, not mistake, but my previous race that I had to lift off the brake and go deep, or I was gonna get hit and spun the same exact way that happened in WR. So I'm grateful that I did that. I looked at the mirror, I knew it, I just saw it coming. I just saw it coming. But anyway, we skip on a few laps and Barry lets us through because unfortunately Jarno managed to gap Alfie by 2 seconds. So that is horrible for us. It would be a miracle if we managed to catch him back again, even if me and Alfie could work together. I do have a little bit more ERS than Jarno, but I don't think it's enough. It's going to be a pure race battle till the finish. We get past Alfie straight away as fast as we can, and we are 2.7 seconds off the lead. Nothing's lost though. We're going to push, but at the same time, Alfie was pushing Barry, and we were just losing a little bit of time. And ERS, crucially, as well. But thankfully, we managed to work together and keep him behind. And then now the gap is 2.2 around. So we are catching, slowly but surely. It's all about pace now. And Jarno was really, as I said before, was extremely quickly. So I was focused like
5 laps left.
Never before in a league race, to be quite honest. I mean, you guys will see. I'm going to leave. I'm pushing the limit like crazy. There's a go wide, completely wide, because I skated on the curb. I'm gonna let the last 5 laps play for you guys, because I just want to show you the amount of focus and communication and things that was going on. This was the 5 most intense laps I think I've driven in a league race. I don't know if it's exaggerated or something, but it was purely a pace battle between me and Jarno, and it's honestly the funnest thing in a league race. I was trying to encourage Barry there to not panic that he's gonna keep my DRS because it's very powerful here, so I don't think he was gonna drop.
Jarno is same ERS as
But anyway,
Nico. He's recharging
we have the same
for-
ERS. The gap is now 2.0, so we are still catching little by little. That means we have 5 laps to catch 1 second. That's basically around 2/10 a lap, which we have done so far. But as we see, the gap
but this
starts
lap you will go into one.
stalling, but a virtual safety car comes out, which is neither good or bad. Well, actually, it's really good for Jarno because that means it gives me less time to catch him. It gives him more time to charge ERS and just save the tires a bit more. Crucially, it gives me less time to catch. So that's very good news for him. Depends how long the VSC
Good
lasts.
because he's on 7
So now,
laps.
crucially, it's all about managing the delta on the VSC. This could make or break the whole race. If I can manage to stay close to the delta, not be too far back, as we see here on 5/10, 4/10, 3/10 is about to end as we nail the start. I gained 8/10, 9/10 now, a full second, and he even goes wide, and we're back under the 1 second gap. But we lose the car at the exit of the corner, and we lost all momentum. And I lost, I think, more than 1.5, 2/10 there, and that means we do not get the slipstream and/or DRS,
No, 14.
and we're back to being outside the 1 second gap, 1.1.
Use Barry, it's okay.
Once again, both of us pushing like animals with no ERS. Another 5 laps back to pure pace battle, and as you can see, my heart rate is on 160 plus now, and I think it's gonna stay like that, if not higher, for the rest of the race, as we are so close to the DRS, but we just couldn't quite get it. As he had the faster straight line speed than us, he was always pulling away a little bit more in the last 2 sectors, or in the last second half of the track. As you also here, he's pulling away 1.15 basically. So we have to make up the time in sector 1. As you can see, he's blinking just like us. So we were both on the same boat. The only fact that the only reason why I can keep P2 ahead of everyone behind me is because I have newer tires than Barry, and Barry is just defending everyone behind. But anyway, the gap is still 1.0, 1.1. We're trading sectors. It's not changing whatsoever. We're pushing to the absolute limit, skating even there a little bit. It was honestly, yeah, I was sweating like crazy. It was maybe a little bit too tight. I was touching the wall even. Still 1.1 the gap. Barry keeping the DRS as well. Ideally, it would have been that Barry could pass me and then slingshot onto Jarno's DRS, but it was just never possible with the tire deficit that he had. So it was all up to me, and I just couldn't get that last little tiny tenth. As I'm trying to nail every single apex, the gap is still 1.1, man. It's crazy, honestly. I even touched the wall there because I was trying to minimize the distance as much as possible to the corner. But I just couldn't. And Barry is now like right behind us with Josh and Thomas that actually went from P16 to P5 in a few laps, which is actually crazy.
You can get him.
Yeah, as I tell Barry that I want him to slingshot past me, but he just couldn't. He just didn't have the tires. And the gap is still the same, like 1.2, 1.1 region. And I couldn't do anything about it, so I was either gonna fight for the win, get his DRS, or I have to fall back and help Barry keep his P3 for the championship. But as I notice here, Thomas got past Josh, and he's absolutely flying on these mediums, and he has way more ERS than us. So at this point, I think Thomas will pass Barry, and Thomas, I'm gonna just use Thomas to then slingshot back to Jarno. So that's my new strategy here. The gap is still 1.1. It's exactly the same. We are doing the exact same lap times. There's nothing I can do. I'm just not quicker, not slower. It's just how it is. 1.0. So yeah, Barry now lets us go Thomas. As you see, they're 9/10 behind us, and there you go. Thomas gets past, and he's gonna very, very quickly catch me onto this back straight. I'm not gonna use any ERS anymore, I think, or not now, but at the beginning of next lap. Yeah, Thomas is catching so fast. 5/10 now, gonna go down to 4, even 3/10. This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. 2 tenths behind me. He has more ERS.
Jake's
He's
on
gonna
20,
fly past me here. As you
25
see,
on
I'm just
exit
gonna
right.
let him go. I don't touch my
Thomas
ERS.
Go, Tommy, Tommy!
And now I'm just cheering for Thomas to go and catch him so I can follow. I'm not gonna touch my ERS anymore. Save it all for the end. As I already know, it's gonna be
He's in.
a
He's in.
three-way fight for the win on track. But we
Like, he's
know that
20
Thomas has an
ERS.
8-second penalty, so that's why I didn't want to fight him. Because it doesn't matter where I finish, I will be ahead of Thomas no matter what. So it's just following him now and saving as much ERS as possible. That's basically it. As he's already, I think, 7 tenths behind him, 6 tenths behind him.
35.
So yeah,
Jake is
Thomas
on
is already has
25.
35% ERS. That's way more than Jarno. Jarno, I think, is just about
Our tires
flashing
are gonna
or
be kind of the
close
same
to
from
like
now
me.
on. Remember
But
that?
the gap actually went up a bit, but that was due to the dirty air. But now with the DRS from Thomas, we are going to catch a monumental amount of time. Actually, we're 1.5 seconds, yeah, behind Jarno at the start of the chicane there, and we're gonna see how much we gain until the start of the next lap. But it's gonna be huge. The DRS here is crazy.
It's gonna be last lap, Nico.
Yeah, Jake is using everything.
I definitely.
Yeah, it's gonna be a last lap battle, as always in these league races. As you can see, still 153 heart rate at the moment, but I think it will go even higher for the last lap. Honestly, a bit worrying, but anyway. As I remember, guys, I said 1.5 seconds. It's now down to 8, maybe 7 tenths. It's down to 8 tenths, just about to Jarno. So we've caught up 7 tenths. That means if we catch another 7 tenths, we are side by side. So it's absolutely all to play for here for the win, somehow. Not quite sure how that's possible, but it's all thanks to Thomas. So I need to nail this S's Sector 1 with my higher wings. I managed to catch a little bit Jarno again, or not lose too much time in the dirty air, sorry. 8.5 tenths. Thomas is right behind them. He's basically, I think 2-3 tenths behind. I can't really see properly the numbers. They're a bit blurry for me, but I think he's 3 tenths behind with 30% more ERS. So here comes the first DRS zone. I'm not going to touch my ERS because I need to save it all for the last straight.
Jarno Yaris?
As I'm asking for Jarno's ERS, and he's
13.
13, so a little bit lower than us. But as you see, we're catching so much, and my heart rate is reaching 170 as we go down the last straight with more ERS, DRS, slipstream. He's flashing, I'm flashing, Thomas is pushing. We're gonna go around the outside here. We have so much more speed that we are ahead before the corner, and we're just gonna go deep here, not give him any switchback. I think he misjudged a bit the switchback there. I went a little bit deep. And we managed to get the win on the last corner of the last lap.
Nice.
Thanks to our strategy of letting Thomas go and catching him for us. As Barry was not happy there at the end, but I understand him. He was fighting for the win, and because of the safety car, he only finished P5. So
that he has at the moment.
yeah, Barry will be P5, so we're gonna finish. The order will be me P1, Jarno P2, Danny P3 from 18th. So yeah, great recovery from Danny there from 18th all the way up to 3rd. I think 4th was actually I'm not sure who 4th was, but anyway, we are catching a lot in the championship with that win, and it puts us P3 in the championship at the moment. 15 or 14 points behind P1 Jarno, and like 10 points behind Barry, so we're definitely back in the championship fight. 3 races to go. It's all to play for. We are going to go in Mexico, I think, the next races, so I will see you all guys then. Ciao, guys.